they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you. I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean, no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you.
I do this for the kids who sit a bit outside the mix, who maybe cope through humor just to fit in for a bit, who never let the world know when depression's setting in. To all of those who know you, that impression don't exist, and it ain't counterfeit, it's just a way to counter it. I'm living things I dreamed about, I still encounter it. It ain't something that a cigarette or alcohol can fix, but all because of it, I flipped it quick, went on to write some hits. This a success, off another breath. This the first step in searching to be nothing less than be the best in what you do to prove their strength in being you. Learn so much in chasing dreams that I never would in school. Depends on where your passion lie, just no passion never lie. Life presents distractions, but your actions have to fortify. The things that you believe in have to scream it like a battle cry, and leave the ones who didn't looking stupid while they're asking why. Couldn't lie, I really do this for the ones I love. Those who treat the music as a vice and lyrics like a drug. Those who need advice on how to lift their spirit high enough to break out of the box they make of lives they know aren't good enough. Just because it's how it is don't mean it's how it has to be. This is what the uninspired testifiers fail to see. Jealousy results from being that which others fail to be, and if it means you're not with me, that honestly sounds fair to me.
I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean, no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you.
Do this for my mother, she'll be working for the summer. Do this for my father, cause these days I often wonder what my life would have been like if I was not adopted. To grow up in a home where I was treated like a problem. I don't know, it's just a guess. Your guess probably good as mine. Lucky that I grew up in a home that wanted me to shine. Lucky that I grew up around some mountains we were taught to climb. Without that inspiration, I don't think that this would be my life. Do this for my friends who've scattered all across the country now. I'm out in Sweden walking back through life so I can write it down. Make a living off the sound, so crazy to say out loud. I'm the biggest thing since Travis Rice to come up out the town. Sorry, gotta stunt a little. Used to have my dreams belittled, but it's all a part of it. I know people's minds are fickle, lines between reality and dreams I blur like faded nights. Come up been so good for me, I wish that I could make it twice.
I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean, no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you.
Oh yes, y'all, welcome. Good morning, good Sunday morning. Shout out to my pops. I do this for you. Hey, I want to make sure I'm not too loud. I'm hoping the mic works out all right. There we go. Hey, thanks for being here, guys. I know it's Sunday morning. I know it's early. I also know it's NFL Sunday. I don't care. We're here to talk football, but mainly college football. I have a lot to cover. Group of 5, I got to cover 5 conferences. So on a Sunday, I do it a little different. Now, first and foremost, if you want to talk about all the big teams and all the big names, I'm going to talk about them throughout the week. So if it's a Power 5 team, I give them enough shine Monday through Friday. We'll talk about them then. But today is for Group of 5 conferences only. If you're asking me questions and it's not about the Group of 5, you're wasting your time. We're not going to talk about it. I'll literally skip you. If you repeat yourself, you'll be muted forever. It's just the way it goes. Shout out to everybody. But if we want to recap real quick, we are 37-13 on the season. That means I've given a prediction to 50 different games at this point, and we've hit on 37 of them. That is good enough for 74%. Now, there's some people out there, and they're crying, and they're complaining, and they're saying, Rico, we had a bad day yesterday. No, you had a bad day yesterday. I woke up to an amazing woman laying next to me. I woke up to the most amazing dog in my house, in a house I own, 4 walls, the AC's kicking at 72 degrees. You can't get me down. You can't bring me down. You had a bad day, not me, bruh. I'm telling you, I love my life. I'm just letting you know all the hate is out of control, but we're here. Thank you guys for being here. We're going to jump right into it, okay? The first thing I'm going to do, something I didn't do last week, we're going to talk about independence because I have no day dedicated to the independent teams out there. Now, I told you guys take Notre Dame, take the spread. They're going to cover against NC State. That was incredibly true. It happened. Okay, shout out to them. They got themselves under control. Sam Hartman had to come back from behind. I didn't understand that. They couldn't handle that Armstrong kid. He looks gross. By the way, they showed his family in the stands. Gross. I'm just letting you know. Can't stand that family. Delaware State, these guys were playing Army, and they made Army look like world beaters. They made Army look like they were fighting a war. Of course, Army's going to win at a war. But definitely on the football field, it shouldn't have been 57-0. That's absurd. And then Miami of Ohio and UMass. Guys, I'm going to pull the box score up for you guys so you guys can see something. Now, I'm going to do an I Am Right video later this week on this, maybe even later today, because I'm super excited about it. Let me tell you guys about this game. Miami of Ohio, this is a throwaway game. None of you guys would ever watch this game. Miami of Ohio against UMass. But you know the transfer portal is everything to me. And UMass went and hit the transfer portal hard. And when you look at UMass on the right here, shut your mouth. When you see the transfer portal, and you see the players over here on the far right, you're going to see all these transfer portal players. It's pretty cool. You see Mark Pope. If you don't know, that's the kid that was kicked off of Jackson State by Coach Prime. He got his second chance over here at UMass. Did well, led the team in receiving. Good for him. And as I go down, there's some other people I want to point out. Deshaun Jenkins right here. This guy, 1 interception, 53 yards, and a touchdown. Deshaun Jenkins is a former starter for Vandy. He started at Vandy for 3 years in the SEC, and he was great. 50 tackles a season, all this stuff. He parlays that into a transfer to Ole Miss last year. Couldn't break the 2 deep. Barely played anything at Ole Miss, so he finally hits the transfer portal for his final season, and he goes to UMass. And he shows out, balls out, pause, and he plays great. But he gets an interception, runs it back for a touchdown. Deshaun Jenkins, did I say Jenkins? I meant Jerkins. What is wrong with me? Mel Tucker. I couldn't say jerk. I kept thinking of Mel Tucker and his phone sex issues. Nonetheless, Jerkins here, Deshaun, this kid is great. Another guy that played pretty good yesterday was J.B. Brown. That's the transfer from Arizona. And they got like 7 transfers from Arizona. But that's not what this whole box score is about, bro. We're talking about the other group of 5. Brett Gabbert, right? Blaine Gabbert's little brother, Brett here. He's got great arm talent. Doesn't always do the right thing. You see it. The QBR is 36.4. Not good. 4 touchdowns, 2 picks. Good enough. They win the game huge. And the reason they win is Rashad Amos, former South Carolina running back. Shout out to the Gamecocks. Man, wouldn't they love to have a running back right now? Amos goes for over 100 yards. And more importantly, look at this Gage Larvadain kid. Remember, I've been telling you guys, I tell you guys every chance I get. When I mention Miami of Ohio, I go, guys, they got a transfer from the Southeast Louisiana team. Those damn Southeastern, those Lions. They had 2 guys over there. It was Zy Alexander. He transferred to LSU. He's a corner. And Gage Larvadain, when I turned on the tape, absolutely amazing. I said, dude, this guy's a hidden gem. I bet if I go to my TikTok, my hidden gems playlist, I guarantee you there's a video on Gage Larvadain. If not, I got to go to the traffic portal playlist. But I'm going to find Gage Larvadain because I gave him shine. When I watched film on this kid, I said, whoa, that's a baller. Well, his first game against equivalent opposition, 8 receptions, 273 yards and 3 touchdowns. Gage Larvadain went for 99 yards on the play, bro. He Tony Dorsett these cats. Shout out to Gage Larvadain. I'm doing a video on him today. I'm probably doing it after this live stream. I got to give him shine. And obviously, my talent meter is off the charts. I just notice people. That's what happens. It's incredible. Shout out to Gage Larvadain for playing out of his mind and catching my eye. And then you got UConn and Georgia State. Georgia State wins 35-14. They beat UConn. Not surprised by the outcome. Darren Granger, you see this leading rusher over here? It says Darren Granger's the leading rusher. Don't let that fool you. He's the starting quarterback for Georgia State, and he has been. Remember, Keon Brown. There's a guy named Keon Brown. He went to Memphis. He couldn't start there. He won 2 state titles in high school. Let me rewind that. Keon Brown won 2 state titles in high school. I think he played at Zachary in Louisiana. Wins 2 state titles. Goes up to Memphis. Tries to be the starting quarterback. Seth Hannigan beats him out. So then he transfers to Georgia State. He goes from Memphis to Georgia State. He's like, well, I guess I can go start at Georgia State. No, Darren Granger beat you out. And if I can bring that story full circle, Keon Brown just transferred to Blinn Junior College, and he can't start there either. He got beat out by my boy Johnson, Caleb Johnson, the transfer from Louisville. So Keon Brown, I don't know where you're going to play, bro. You won a bunch of state championships in high school, but you can't start anywhere. You couldn't start at 2 different colleges, and now the JUCO. I'm sorry to see that, bro, but you might need to go down to Division II to find a quarterback job. But back to Granger here. Darren Granger, I'm going to pull it up. Darren Granger from UConn. I'm sorry, against UConn. They played out of their mind. The thing they did was shut down Victor Rosa. Victor Rosa, they tell me he runs 23 miles per hour. He's a great running back at UConn. Had a bunch of numbers last week and last year. They held Rosa to 1.7 yards a carry. 10 carries, 17 yards. The truth. And Granger led the team in rushing. And Marcus Carroll's been at Georgia State the whole time. Shout out to him. He just stuck with the program. Finally got his shot, stuck with the program. But look at Granger, 144, 140. Rush for over and pass for over 140. It's a pretty good stat line. Beating UConn. UConn is now 0-2. UConn's one of the better 0-2 teams in the country. Not the best or anything, but they're there. And Georgia State's 2-0. Georgia State's halfway to a damn bowl game as far as I'm concerned. Congratulations to them. So that's the independent slate. I'm always going to go to the chat. We're going to do chat for 5 minutes, and then I go back to the slate every single time because I got to go back and forth. There's 5 conferences. 6 now with this, right? But let's go next week's games. I'll give you guys my picks. I don't know the spreads for these games. I'm just going to tell you what's going to happen here. UTSA's beating Army, okay? Army's going to UTSA. That's not going to bode well for them. UMass and Eastern Michigan. I got to see the spread, see what they think. It's a home game for Eastern Michigan. Eastern Michigan's lost, but they're still a good team. I've watched them lose twice now. I think they match up well. Central Michigan's going to play tough with Notre Dame for about a half, and then Notre Dame's going to beat the brakes off of them. And FAU looks extremely improved. I'm going to talk about FIU. FIU looks extremely improved. I'm going to talk about them later in the show. I think FIU found themselves one of the best freshman quarterbacks in the country. So there's only like 6 freshmen starting at quarterback across America, and FIU's got one of them. He wasn't the starter. I'll show it later. I made a video about him earlier this week, and I'm telling you, he balled out. Just on cue, right on cue. After I said he's going to be great, he went and did his thing this week. We'll talk about it. So those are the picks for the independents. We'll keep moving forward. I'll hit the American after I hit the chat for 5 minutes. Let's go. What does chat have to say? Keep the timer on me, please, sweetie. Thank you. Yeah, 5 minutes. Somebody just let me know when it's been 5 minutes. Good morning, Rico. Rico, good morning. Roughneck. Shout out to David in Arizona. Good to see you, brother. See him all the time. Lewis Henton gave me a thumbs up and 3 footballs. Lewis Henton is a diehard Roll Tide Roll. He is a diehard Alabama fan. Shout out to Lewis Henton. I'm glad to see you're still here and you didn't do anything crazy last night with your shoelaces. That's good stuff. Connor Formia says, morning, Rico. After watching college football for the last 2 weeks, there's one guy who I wasn't too familiar with who's really caught my eye. Terrence Taylor at Toledo. Could you tell me what you know? Can I tell you what I know? Have you guys ever watched Hoop Dreams? Anybody ever watch Hoop Dreams? I don't know if you guys watched it. It's for free on YouTube, I'm sure. Hoop Dreams, it's the greatest sports movie / documentary in the history of man. Like, Hoop Dreams is the greatest thing you can watch. They can't even reduplicate it anymore. Because you have like this camera crew that followed around these kids for like 10 years. Nobody's filming a documentary for 10 years without putting out the parts and the pieces. Right? Think of Hard Knocks. They did Hard Knocks, and every single week we need a new episode of Hard Knocks. But with Hoop Dreams, they filmed these kids for 10 years. They went and got them as 9-year-olds. They took a scout. He went to the park. They were playing pickup basketball, and he just said, he pointed at this 9-year-old, and he said, that 9-year-old's going to be somebody. Follow him for the next 10 years. He's got a good first step. And then they took the other guy. That was Arthur Agee, by the way. And then they took William Gates. And William Gates was like this prodigy, and he was supposed to be amazing. McDonald's All-American. And when you watch the documentary, you see other NBA players in the documentary. They're just other kids they're playing against or with or whatever. And as you watch this story, and it's an incredible movie, varying levels of all kinds of stuff. You see poverty, you see greatness, you see injuries, you see heartbreak. It's unreal. But as you watch it, one thing is really cool. Arthur Agee, who's the young kid with the fast first step, he transfers from the fancy school, St. Anthony's, and he goes to the public school. He goes to Marshall. And he takes Marshall, a public school, to the state tournament. He takes them downstate. And he takes them to the state tournament, and they beat a couple of teams. They end up losing, I think, in the semifinals. But it was the first time in 50 years a public team had ever been to the state championship, Final Four, or something like that. It was amazing. And it was history. And this happened back in 91. But the movie is so riveting. It's worth watching. It's amazing. It's the best sports movie I've ever seen in my life. It's free on YouTube. It's called Hoop Dreams. And when you mention this kid's name, right? When you mention Terrence Taylor, he reminds me of Arthur Agee and Hoop Dreams. I kid you not. Because Terrence Taylor in high school was the first time I'd seen in a very long time, like 40 years, whatever it is, that a public school went to the state championships in Chicago. And he actually led them to the victory. That's who Terrence Taylor is. He's Arthur Agee. He won the state title for his public school. He got 3 sacks in that championship game. I forgot who they played, but he won. He got 3 sacks in the championship game. He's so amazing. Terrence Taylor, linebacker at Toledo, 6'3", 225. He's been there since 2018. He got there. He earned his keep. Played in every game, special teams. Then he didn't really start, didn't whatever. Dude, he's good to go. Love everything about him. Last season, he only played in 3 games. But he's balling. Shout out to you for noticing. Shout out to Terrence Taylor. Oh, and he's already got his degree. So I like that kid. Shout out to you for asking a very obscure and off-the-wall question there, Connor. Always testing my knowledge, seeing how deep I got to dig in the crates. I appreciate you. I like when people don't try to stump me, but they have a genuine question like that. That's cool. Takeaways from yesterday. It looks like FSU, USC, Michigan might be some of the favorites to make the top 25, to make the college football playoffs. Oh, my bad. That's definitely not a group of 5 question, but it's just a comment, so I'll just say this. Thank you for being here, Jensen. Jeff Jensen. I'm obviously going to make a video about my top 25 later today. Florida State is the number 2 team in the country to me. USC's number 1. I've been watching USC score at will. Their dismantling of Stanford yesterday was amazing. And they have Zakiah Branch is unheard of, unreal. Hey, Rico, new to the channel. I love your content and analysis, how you actually know the game of football. Wondering when you're doing your top 25 rankings. Later today. I usually have to wait till all the teams play. It takes me time. I want to peel back the onion a little bit. Most videos I can make in about 3 or 4 minutes, but I cannot make my top 25 video in about 3 or 4 minutes. My top 25 video takes an hour or 2 because I have to post a picture of every single team. Got to go crop it, post it, put it behind me, talk. A lot of editing, a lot of moving parts, then go and add all the graphics to it. It's one of my most time-consuming videos, and nobody really watches it. It's just for my loyal fans, so I don't even make money on it. It's a loss for me, but I still do it because one day I want people to say they are ranked number 13 on RicoKnows poll. You know what I'm saying? Like the FPI, the way you guys quote the FPI from ESPN, there's no difference than quoting my poll. How is theirs any more valid than mine? Their polls look like shit anyways. And that's been 5 minutes. I'm going back over here, guys. All right, back to the American now. Let's talk about the American. American results, pretty simple. Tulsa was outmatched against Washington. Their freshman quarterback came crashing back down to earth. Cardell, he went out there. He threw for 3 touchdowns their first game against Arkansas Pine Bluff off the bench. Looked amazing. Got in the game against Washington. Got smashed, bro. Pause. But he didn't look good enough to play on that field. It was terrible. SMU and Oklahoma. Shout out to the transfer portal. Bridging gaps, doing their thing. SMU and Oklahoma. Oklahoma didn't look nearly as sharp as they used to, or as they did against Arkansas State, the worst team in America. But they got the win. But Preston Stone looked all right. Preston Stone, starting quarterback for SMU. He did his damn thing. I'm not mad at him. Oklahoma better figure some stuff out. 28-11. Not impressed, but good enough. Ole Miss and Tulane. Shout out to Tulane with a backup quarterback. I told you guys keep an eye on their wide receivers. Let me show you this. I didn't even pull this out yet. Let me open link in a new tab. Let me do that. I got to see what games I have covered up here for this conference, but I want to go to this box score real quick. Because I told you guys, keep an eye on Lawrence Keynes III and Jaquan Jackson for Tulane, and each of them did just fine. 5 receptions, 94 yards, 483, and a touchdown. They played great. You guys see Yule Keith Brown right here? That's a Texas A&M transfer coming over. But yeah, man, Kai Horton coming off the bench, doing the best he can. 15 for 37 is not good. He's not Pratt. But I think Ole Miss might have lost this game. And here's the thing. You're in a close game. It's tight. It's tough. And you still don't see Spencer Sanders out there. You still don't see Spencer. Hey, Jackson Dart threw an interception. No Spencer Sanders. He came in one time. I think it was because of a helmet came off. That's not the guy. What's more concerning to me is Judkins hasn't been running the rock well. 48 rushing yards is not good. This is a guy who's supposed to be able to rush for over 1,200 yards. I'd imagine once they start playing all the scrubs in the SEC, he'll get a bunch of numbers. He'll get a bunch of yards. But right now they're playing opposition outside of conference, and the SEC can't dominate anybody outside of conference. You heard it here first. I'm going to say it every week. They look terrible. I can't wait till they play each other for 8 games and they somehow get a bunch of high rankings in bowl games. But they're trash. Shout out to Tulane for showing up and smacking them right back in the mouth. Yeah, you lost, but they showed out. I'm cool with it. Let's keep going here. Unfortunately, we're in the American. So UTSA wins. They bounce back. They beat Texas State. Frank Harris still played bad. I think he hurt his toe. We never want to see anybody injured, but it didn't look well. Man, Navy beat Wagner 24-0. This is gross. Navy did not look good. It shouldn't be that close. Marshall and East Carolina. Marshall, they play in the Sun Belt. They beat East Carolina, but I'm really impressed with East Carolina. Now, I knew Marshall was going to win this game, but East Carolina's quarterback, Mason Garcia, it's his first year starting, and he just showed up. You know, they've had Holton Ayers for like 4 years now. Mason Garcia went out there and rushed for 118 yards. Are you kidding me, bro? They don't have what's wrong with me? Keaton Mitchell. They don't have Keaton Mitchell this year. They don't have anybody. They're struggling to find running backs, but my goodness. Shout out to Chase Sewell. He got his first catch for 5 yards. If you didn't know, that's a transfer from Colorado. He left Colorado after getting cut by Coach Prime, and he went out there and he got himself a reception. I'm happy for him. And Rasheen Ali, who I think is one of the best running backs in the country, 18 carries, 85 yards, 3 touchdowns. He did not get a ton of yards, but 3 touchdowns, respectable. Remember, this is a man that rushed for over 21 touchdowns and 1,400 yards like 2 years ago. He missed all last season, but he's back. Rasheen Ali, one of the best running backs in the group of 5. He also had 45 yards receiving. And I'm super excited for Marshall and what they're doing. They're now 2-0. East Carolina's going to have a long season. They're 0-2. It's a shame to be them, but we'll keep it moving. Next game, UAB, Georgia Southern. Now, Georgia Southern won this game. I told you they would. Last Sunday, I told you Georgia Southern's winning this game. They won the game, but UAB did not embarrass themselves. UAB looked sharp. This is Trent Dilfer's team. It's just you ran into a buzzsaw in Georgia Southern. They're now 2-0. They throw the ball everywhere. Davis Brin, the Tulsa transfer, starting quarterback from Tulsa, transfers in. He throws for 318. O.J. Arnold, my favorite player, okay, O.J. Arnold, Omari Arnold. He goes by O.J., but Omari Arnold, he's a former Brooks High School product, played in 1A state title game, lost to Irwin County, and then his senior year, they won the 2A title here in the state of Georgia. I've been watching this kid for years. O.J. Arnold is slowly becoming the marquee back for Georgia Southern, and I love it. Gerald Green witnessed this. This was the second-string running back last year. He was like, man, they're giving this freshman too many carries in the bowl game. So he hit the transfer portal, and I think he's at ECU. But O.J. Arnold led them in rushing yesterday. Jalen White still got the majority of the carries, but O.J. went off, man. I really like this kid. I think he's explosive. He's short. He's always been a player. Every time I saw him, I go, whoa, pops on tape. But check out Jacob Zeno. Jacob Zeno's a transfer. And I'm telling you, he's playing great for who's their new coach? Who's the guy, man? Trent Dilfer. My goodness. Names are everywhere. I'm a little disappointed in Jermaine Brown Jr. He got stuffed at the line, shut down. I went and watched the tape. My goodness, they had everybody in the box. They were out here to stop Jermaine Brown Jr. This is one of my favorite running backs in the group of 5, and he only got 13 carries, 34 yards. Not good. But they had a mission. But my goodness, can these teams throw the rock? Shout out to UAB. They look good, and they still lost. I'm still encouraged by what they did. Okay. Next game, Ohio beat Florida Atlantic. I don't know what happened to Florida Atlantic, guys. I had them winning this game. Ohio had got revitalized. Curtis Rourke came back and win the game. I told you Wester would be open every single play, and he was. It didn't matter. They didn't score. But LeJontay Wester is one of those receivers you can't really cover, so I knew he'd be open. But Larry McCammon, 7 carries, 23 yards, that's not it. Check out my boy LeJontay Wester, though. 12 receptions, 101 yards. Like, if you're letting a guy get 12 receptions and he still can't score, something's wrong. It sucks. It's a damn shame. They did fumble. I don't know, man. Casey Thompson, you got to do better. You're a transfer from Texas. You're a transfer from Nebraska. And you go down to FAU and you go 23 for 42 and go for 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. What? You were doing your best Jeff Sims impersonation. That's embarrassing. Okay? Another thing that's pretty sad is Say Bangura is not running great this season. He's supposed to be the best back out of the DMV, DeMatha Catholic. Say Bangura has been not getting it done. 17 carries, 45 yards. That's 2 yards a carry, guys. That's crazy. You can't do that. So they bring in Allison off the bench. They do have a 1-2 punch we're talking about. He didn't do much better, but still, that performance by Casey Thompson is embarrassing. It makes me look bad. It was one of my locks. I had no idea Casey Thompson was going to go out there and throw 2 picks, no touchdowns, and freaking whatever his completion percentage was. It was very Anthony Richardson-esque. That's what he looked like, if you ask me. North Texas and FIU. I pulled out this box score for you guys. I want to explain something to you guys. All right, Chandler Rogers is the starting quarterback for North Texas, and he came over from ULM. He was the ULM starting quarterback, and he left to come play for Eric Morris and North Texas. But when they went into practice and they went into this fall, they didn't let Chandler Rogers be the starting quarterback. They wanted Stone Earl. They said Stone Earl beat him out. Stone Earl plays like trash, bro. 10 for 20, 96 yards, a touchdown, 2 interceptions. Not good. And your boy Chandler Rogers played out of his mind when they finally put him in the game, just like I thought he would. But this freshman over here, Keon Jenkins, this is the guy. He got to start. 20 for 32, almost 300 yards, a touchdown, 2 picks. I get it. But he did enough. Finding the right people. Shout out to Chris Mitchell, doing it again, 2nd week in a row. FIU, man. The all-name team, you guys remember? Rocky Beers? He was on my all-name team. Rocky Beers had a catch for 12 yards. Who names their kid Rocky Beers? I need to know. He's not the only one. There's a couple other guys. But Rocky Beers has a brother, I believe, if I remember correctly. But, yeah, shout out to FIU for pulling this out. North Texas, 0-2. It's going to be a long season. They lost most of their talent to the transfer portal, and they're just trying to make do with what they have. But, yeah, man, we'll see what happens. I think North Texas has a quarterback concern and a quarterback competition. Give me Chandler to do that. Rogers, it's unfortunate any other way. Rice beating Houston in double overtime. This goes to show us, guys, that Rice is a lot better than we thought. Rice made Texas struggle. Remember we saw Texas struggle last week, and everybody goes, oh, man, Texas struggle. They're going to lose to Bama. Quinn Ewers, this, that, the other. Dude, Rice looks real. Rice put some work in on these boys. Number 1, 2 interceptions. Oh, Donovan Smith only threw 1 interception. My bad. I thought it was 2. But Tony Mathis can't fill the shoes that Alton McCaskill IV left behind. He usually could, but he can't. So Tony Mathis is a transfer from West Virginia, one of their leading rushers last year, and he transferred into Houston to see what he can do. He's doing the best he can, but my goodness, Rice. I should move this out of the way. JT Daniels, 400 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, looking like he's back at modern day, hitting Luke McCaffrey everywhere. Dude, how many McCaffreys are there? How many McCaffreys are there in this world? I need to know. But Rice is doing it. They win 43-41. You got to be embarrassed. And the only way it even went to overtime is because Houston scored 21 points in the 4th quarter. What's going on? Dana Holgorsen. I've never seen somebody do less with more. This man should be fired. He shouldn't be employed. And if he's of age, he should enlist in the Army. and give back to his country. That man can't do a damn thing right. Shout out to Florida A&M in South Florida. I told you guys Florida A&M has a shot to beat South Florida. I was not calling a victory. I was just saying he has a shot. And when I say something like that, you should go take the spread. The spread was 20. FAMU covered. But Musa threw 3 interceptions despite throwing 374 yards. South Florida, they have some great players and a great coach with a great offensive scheme. Shout out to South Florida for pulling it out. Pause. Memphis did exactly what I said they would. They beat the brakes off Arkansas State. Shout out to Seth Hennigan. Arkansas State can't score, guys. You can't score on Oklahoma or Memphis. They're not good. Charlotte at Maryland. I talked to the missus last night. We watched this game. Did we not, sweetie? We watched Charlotte and Maryland because I care about Biff Poggi and everything he's doing. They were competitive. They had an early lead. Obviously, Maryland came back and won the game. It's concerning for Maryland not to be able to dominate this game from the start, but I get it. It's a rivalry game. A lot of these kids are playing at Maryland, close to home, in front of friends and family, just balling out. I like that game for its recruiting implications. People in that area, they just, they watched the game. They probably enjoyed the hell out of it. Congrats to Biff Poggi for actually showing up and not falling flat on his face. That's the transfer portal in action right there. Rutgers beating Temple. Did not see this coming as far as domination goes. I was expecting it to be somewhat competitive. But Temple, E.J. Warner, that is Kurt Warner's son. And, he still gets his yards. He's a gunslinger. But Rutgers, Jaquan Jackson finally showed up. I talked about this guy last week. He's a beast. Gavin Wimsett, 10 for 21, still has accuracy issues. Always incomplete, 50% passer. It's gross. You can't even complete 50% of your passes against Temple. It's going to look bad in the Big Ten, guys. But they ran the ball really well, and Jaquay Jackson finally showed out. Jaquay Jackson finally showed out. Good for him. 4 catches, 95 yards. That's the American. Let's see what they're doing next week if you want to get on these spreads. I don't know the spreads, but if you want to have a talk about it, let's go. Week 3. Memphis and Navy. Obviously, Memphis winning the game. Got to check the spread and see what happens there. Army at UTSA. Give me UTSA. Spread will come out later. Temple and Norfolk. Stay away from it, but Temple's winning. Alabama at South Florida. Man, watch South Florida win this game, y'all. Oklahoma at Tulsa. It's a rivalry. They want to scrap, but Tulsa wants no part of this game. Tulsa's getting blown out. East Carolina and App State, it might be a low-scoring game. It might. Tulane at Southern Miss. We don't even have to call these games. These are all easy. Georgia State at Charlotte. I'm interested to see what Charlotte can do with Granger. Granger can score all day. North Texas might get their first win at La Tech, first win of the season. Louisiana's got no shot against UAB. I really like the way UAB is playing right now. I'm going to be interested in that spread. Prairie View at SMU, it's going to be a blowout. Rice will beat the hell out of Texas Southern. And then FAU's playing Clemson. Man, Clemson might be losing at the end of the first half. Take that first half under, whatever it is. Clemson's been looking terrible lately. Clemson doesn't deserve to be ranked in the top 25. I don't care. I don't care if they beat Charleston Southern or whatever. All right, we're done with the American. We'll move on to Conference USA next, but let's go back to the chat. 5 minutes on the chat. Let's go. It's on. What up? I'm finally checking in. Excited for Rico and everyone's take. Shout out to you, Brian Sullivan. Thanks for being here. Breaking says, good morning, Rico. Good morning. Zion says, Oregon won a very close game. That they are very beatable when Colorado comes to Eugene week 4. Don't skip the trap game. They got to beat Colorado State first. Zachary Bell says, your lives made me a huge fan of this song. My intro song. Shout out to Abstract. He does follow the channel. He reached out to me and he said, hey, man, thanks for playing my song every day. Thanks for putting people on it. Guys, Abstract's a great artist. He's got a lot of rap songs, a lot of alternative rock lately. I'm not an alternative rock guy, but I like a lot of his older rap songs. That song is a feel-good song. It reminds me of my father. It reminds me of what I'm doing here. I play it every day, the intro and the outro. Some days when I'm feeling froggy and I'm kind of amped, that's when I start playing I'm Going Green. I appreciate you guys. By the way, Going Green, I need likes, y'all. I need likes on the YouTube. Go ahead and leave the chat now. Leave the show. Hit the like button, then come back in. You can't hit like button while we're doing the live stream. Step right out. Step back in. Hit that like button. We're at 40. We have over 100 people in here. I have over 150 watching me over here on TikTok. Together, we can get them likes up. Just go hit it, man, and then come back. You guys on TikTok, not reading any of your comments, not talking to any of you. I don't get paid to talk to you. You got to come over to YouTube. Hit the link up here. Follow the link. Go to YouTube. Search RicoKnows. Join the live stream. I'll take one of your questions. There you go. Lives made you a huge fan of the song. Thank you very much. CMB81 says, hi, Rico. Great content, bro. Hey, shout out to you. Thank you very much. I'm Adrian says, thoughts on Miami. Miami's not a group of 5 team. Thank you for asking. I'll be talking about Miami tomorrow on Monday. They're the ACC. Thoughts on Florida State's defense as a unit. Talking about Florida State tomorrow on the ACC. Mondays are ACC. This season is shaping up to be fun. Shout out to Dogs and Autumn for being here. Love his channel. He's a good dude, man. He's just sitting at home giving you his thoughts and his interesting perspective. I appreciate that guy. So if you're on TikTok, find Dogs and Autumn, his channel. One of the few people I follow. I follow nobody. But anytime his video's on, I'll watch it. I'll give it a look. It's not bad. It's just a man thinking, just sitting there going, hey, I'm a little perplexed right now. Thanks for being here, though, bro. Corey Free. Good morning, Rico. Good morning. Jake Bostic says, great content. Do you have a place where you put all plays? I watch the videos on TikTok, but apparently I keep missing. Jake Bostic, there are playlists on TikTok. If you go to my homepage, all the videos are posted there. Right above the videos are a bunch of rectangles, and there's a bunch of playlists. Find the playlist that works for you. Watch all the videos in it. Matthew Carpenter. Rico, did you see Fliff scammed a bunch of people out of their payments on the Miami? Excuse me. Let me go back. Chat just jumped on me. I apologize. On the Miami game last night. Good morning. No, Matthew Carpenter, I did not see that. I don't even know what Fliff is. I don't gamble. I don't do apps. So I don't know what you're talking about. It's unfortunate. I think all these guys lose a lot of money on certain games, and they refuse to pay out when they lose a lot of money. I don't trust any gambling apps. Go to a sports book. Go to Vegas. Bet at a counter. Go to Atlantic City. I don't know. I'm not giving you any recommendations. I just don't like the we had a glitch on our system. We're not going to pay you. David in Arizona says, sounds good. Corey Free, loading questions for Wednesday. Wednesday's Big 12. If you got questions for Wednesday, that's Big 12. Do your thing. Hi, Rico. Miles Hurler says, Rico, what happened to FAU? So what happened is they ran into a buzzsaw. I have no idea how they couldn't score on Ohio. FAU's offense is potent, high explosive, all this stuff, and then Casey Thompson goes out there and throws 2 picks, no touchdowns, can't complete any of his passes. Somebody check Casey Thompson's bank account. He had to be on the tape. There's no other way around it. EPZ says 1123. You can't bring Rico down. Rico knows. Thank you so much. I feel good. I know what I know. Jordan Holland says, Rico, how did you feel about Tulane and App State's performance? Already talked about Tulane. I felt really good about it. App State, I'm going to get to, but I'll talk about it now. App State played North Carolina, and I told you guys North Carolina's winning this game because there's no way App State's going to run on them. All App State can do is run the ball. Nate Noel's a great running back, but they're not known for passing. Dude, they got in that game, and they were pound for pound with these guys going to overtime. It's incredible what they did. Now, North Carolina, I don't know what the hell. They scored that final touchdown in overtime, and they went for 2, and they didn't have to. It was weird. They could have very easily lost that game. But they also had a running back go for over 230 yards. You can't do that. App State's got to be able to stop the run. I'm still really impressed with that rivalry, I guess, if that's what you want to call it. Those guys were playing up to the best of their ability. Shout out to App State. They really, really impressed me with how hard they played in that game. And I was really underwhelmed by North Carolina. North Carolina had no business not blowing that game out. That makes me wonder, though. How bad is South Carolina? How bad is South Carolina? That's been 5 minutes. I'll get back to the chat here. Hey, we just got a super chat. Thank you, Let Go. Shout out to Kenneth Rubin. He just threw us $50 in the super chat. You guys don't understand. There's people attacking me saying, hey, Rico, you missed. What a bad day. Do you see that man right there just gave me $50? Can you imagine how much he won off of a play and off of me saying something to him on these live streams and in these videos? Shout out to Kenneth Rubin. He gets the channel. He understands what we're doing here. That $50 pays for my life my standard of living, and that's why I don't gamble. Because when we do hit, we all hit together. We all win together. And you guys give me what you want. I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart, man. You make this page possible. You make my life possible. Thank you, Mr. Kenneth. I appreciate you sharing that with me. Back to the box scores. I'll get back to the chat here in a second. So we're looking at Conference USA. Not a lot of teams in Conference USA, but they're balling out as best they can, y'all. First and foremost, UTEP didn't stand a chance against Northwestern. I told you they wouldn't. Northwestern stomped them into the ground, 38-7. UTEP's looking bad. Liberty and New Mexico State. Liberty's doing good. Shout out to Jamie Chadwell. I thought he would do well this season, and he is. Caden Salter's hitting on all cylinders. Cooley's rushing for over 100. Both transfers. That's great. And New Mexico State's falling flat on their face. I already talked about FIU and North Texas. We'll skip it. Coastal Carolina and Jacksonville State. Jacksonville State, new to the FBS level, new to Conference USA, but my goodness, they did the best they could. Coastal Carolina's got the Sun Belt Player of the Year 3 times in a row. Grayson McCall, it's not easy. Jared Brown balled out. It's unfortunate for Jacksonville State, but I still think they're a good team every single week. La Tech went and put it on Northwestern State. It's an FCS team. Congrats. I'm still curious why La Tech doesn't score points like that during the regular games. They have a air raid offense. They have Sonny Cumbie. He's a product of the Mike Leach coaching tree, yet he's not doing it the way you envision. Middle Tennessee State showing out for Conference USA. Middle Tennessee State won 7 games last year, 8 games. They should have beat Missouri, man. Missouri winning this game 23-19, not impressed. This was one of my locks. The line here was 20-something, was 21. I don't have a clue why Missouri and the SEC are so terrible this year. Oh, it's gross. Luther Burden played great. Brady Cook even had a good completion percentage. They're not getting it done, guys. Middle Tennessee State, they could have won this game. Damn shame. I wish they did. Western Kentucky, Austin Reed still not putting up gaudy numbers. I want to see Austin Reed put up 500 yards a game. It's not happening. He's also not hitting Malachi Corley at all. Western Kentucky wins, though, 52-22. Shout out to Houston Christian. That's a good FCS team. It is. Their star running back just transferred to Texas State. He's doing great. But Houston Christian would have been more competitive with their guy. And let's talk about it. Sam Houston, the very best team in America who hasn't scored a touchdown. You heard me right. Sam Houston is the best team in America, and they haven't scored a touchdown. Week 1, they lost to BYU 14-0. Week 2, they lose to Air Force 13-3. Guys, Air Force is a very good team. Air Force is like one of the favorites in the Mountain West. Air Force won their bowl game huge. Air Force and Sam Houston had to be a snooze fest and a half. If you remember last week, if you play it back, last week, I said, take the under on this game. I told everybody, take the under on this game. As a matter of fact, I called every single game in this conference correctly in last week's preview. When I looked at last week's games and I went back and watched the replay, I called every one of these games correctly. I told you who was going to win, who was going to lose, every single one of these. And then I told you take the under on Sam Houston and Air Force, and they hit on the under huge. Shout out to Sam Houston for doing the best they can. Look at the passing leader for that game. It was 44 yards. Between the two teams, the passing leader was 44 yards. That is out of this world. It feels like the 50s. Let's look at next week's games for Conference USA. You got Buffalo, Liberty at Buffalo. We just saw Buffalo lose to Fordham. Buffalo just lost to an FCS school. It was a shootout, but they lost. Liberty looks poised to win this game. I like Liberty. I'll be interested on the spread. FIU looks poised to beat UConn. Just a lot of points they can score. They look athletic. I like FIU. I think they can beat UConn. But UConn's, great coach team. Good team, but they're 0-2. Western Kentucky and Ohio State. Hey, get crazy. Get crazy. I think Western Kentucky can score some points. No, it's going to be tough. Ohio State looks very underwhelming. Who the hell is ranking them 5? I can tell you in my top 25, Ohio State is not 5. They were 7 last week, and they're going the other way. I'm just letting you know. North Texas and La Tech, somebody's got to win this game. We'll find out who, but somebody's got to win this game. I got to see the spread, but they're both 0-2. It doesn't look good. Middle Tennessee State is going to punch Murray State in the mouth. I like Middle Tennessee State to punch them in the mouth. New Mexico State, New Mexico. Give me New Mexico State. The Aggies are going to win this game. It is a rivalry. It's pretty exciting stuff. They're at New Mexico, but, man, New Mexico's just been looking really anemic lately. UTEP at Arizona, no chance UTEP wins that game. 0, zilch, nada. Hey, here's the box score for that thing. 14 passing yards on 3 attempts for let me get that screen off there. I can't have that for copyrights. But look, Air Force, 3 attempts, 1 completion, 14 yards. What? This is gross, guys. This is gross. And then you come over here, Keegan, 8 for 14, 40 yards. This is nuts. Nuts. And you still win the game with 14 passing yards. That's some terrible football. You don't want to watch that. Let's go back to the chat, and then we'll get back over here to talk about the MAC. Let's go. Rico, is UConn going to be trash forever? Brian Sullivan, no. I think UConn can get in a conference and be relevant. They're just independent. It's hard to recruit and get, but the transfer portal's everything, guys. Guys want to transfer to schools that are losing. Schools that are losing get a lot of transfers. Shout out to Colorado, Texas State, UMass, Arizona State. Schools that are losing get a ton of transfers. You can flip over your whole thing. They can find guys. They don't have to just do it in recruiting. They can get it in the transfer portal. Is it possible for an FBS team to demote to the FCS? Oh, yeah, Chino. It happens all the time. I shouldn't say all the time. It happens, though. If you're a perennial loser and you want to join a conference near you within your proximity, you can do that. Let me give you an example. Idaho used to never win games. Idaho was getting smashed. Idaho was terrible in the FBS level for many, many years. And Idaho wanted to finally become a part of the Big Sky Network or the Big Sky Conference. So Idaho transitions down to the FCS just recently. And they get to the FCS and they realize, holy shit, these teams are good. These teams are good. They couldn't win until last year. They finally got into the playoffs for the first time. They still lost in the playoffs. But Idaho's really good. And just this week, Idaho beat Nevada. An old rivalry that they used to play. Idaho beat Nevada just yesterday. Blew them out even, 31-7, I think. So, yeah, teams move down. You can be demoted. It's not really demoted. It's a choice by the administration to go down and save money because all it means is you're not going to invest the same amount of money into your sports programs. It's not like you perform so poorly you go down. It's the university saying, we don't want to put that much money into our sports programs because you got to put more money in if you're an FBS level program. Let me give you an example. FBS teams have 85 scholarship players. All FBS teams have 85 scholarship players. FCS has only 63 scholarships. And then Division II has only 36 scholarships. So that's the level of commitment you have to your program. At the same time, when you're trying to get head coaches and coaching staffs, you got to pay for those as well. Well, they got to be comparable to the other coaches in the conference. Right? This is why UNLV is making it very difficult for teams right now. UNLV paid Barry Odom, their new head coach, $2.5 million a year. And now the rest of the Mountain West is like, what do we got to pay our head coaches? Because we're not paying them $2.5 million. And if you're trying to get a new coach, that's, yesterday's price is not today's, and you got to go out and get the comps. It's just like buying houses in real estate. You start going, holy shit, we're in the wrong neighborhood. This is the wrong city to live in. Shout out to Kim and I. We're moving. I'm moving, bro. I'm moving to Texas. I'm letting you know now. Moving to San Antonio. UMass maxed out the portal this year. Yes, they did. Rico, what did you think about App State? I already talked about it. Rewind the show. FAU sold your parlay. It happened. Stop parlaying. Listening to Rico while on my run. Let's go. EMT. Don't listen to me on your run, man. You'll run out of breath and get scared. I'm running you down. What up? Big blessings, brother. Thank you so much, Jared. I appreciate you, man. You're always tipping. What are your thoughts on Florida? Florida is not in the group of 5. That's my thoughts. I think people are saying you had a bad day with your picks because you include picks in your record that you don't post on your playlist. I think your playlist went like 6-6 or something still not bad, though. Stephen Guyett, I don't care what they say. They're not followers of the channel. The people who are complaining about me, they're not in here right now. They're not watching this show, and they won't watch it all week long. They don't know me. They don't know the channel. They don't know the content. I cut up pieces and put them on TikTok. So what? I'm good. I lost 0 sleep over them dudes. Your friends don't know, but Rico knows. Shout out to Charlotte. I already talked about them. I think they're great. Shout out to Biff Poggi. He's doing the best he can. How do you feel about Team USA losing? Team USA not getting a medal in the basketball championships. Team USA's trash. They went out and lost to Canada. Canada's first medal in forever. Guys, we suck. We got players in there. Our people don't want to represent this country. It's crazy, dude. It's embarrassing. Other countries take everything serious. We don't take anything serious. We don't even take ourselves serious. It's embarrassing. Thoughts on the new clock rules made Saban burn all 3 timeouts with 5 minutes left. Texas killed the last 8 minutes with ease. Yeah, Wes Smith. I think Saban was trying to prove a point by taking those 3 timeouts with 5 minutes left. But nobody's making you do anything. You're doing it yourself. He tried to take all 3 timeouts before the last 2 minutes because he knows he gets the benefit of the clock rules in the last 2 minutes. That's just life. Adjust accordingly. I'm not a fan of a lot of things. Deal with it. That didn't help them win the game. Help them lose the game. They lost the game all on their own. Kim says, good morning, everybody. Remember to not repeat your question. Please don't. He goes in order, and we'll get there. Hit that like button. 69 of them listened. Don't be a jerk, or I will mute you. Shout out to Kim Jones. Hey, Rico, could you tell me a little bit more about Ashton Jetty on Boise? Dude had over 200 yards rushing and receiving yesterday. Dude looks like a stud. So I actually talked about him in my group of 5 top 10 running backs, I believe. Let me double check that. I know it's in the video. I don't want to pull up the video. That'll take too long. Let me go over here. Let me look at group of 5 running backs. There he is, Ashton Jetty. He's there on my list. So I was talking about him. He was one of my honorable mentions, and that's just because I went with George instead, right? Holani, because he's more established. But I understand. I know how good Jetty is. So Ashton Jetty's he's a Texas kid. Total stud. What a great player, right? If you guys didn't know, I got spreadsheets for everything. Sorry, I just pulled that up on you. I didn't mean to do that to you. I spend all day working on this like it's an office job. I make spreadsheets of players and rankings and put them in places. Just pulling the curtain back a little bit that I can show you. I take notes on my videos. I'm very organized at what I do. So I'm glad you asked. I think he's a stud. I think he's a great player. And to see him put up that type of performance against a Power 5 opponent, it's very encouraging. It's unfortunate they lost, but he's out of his mind. Love it. Talked about him before. Yeah, I believe in the kid. It's good. Hope he doesn't transfer. Thank you so much, Kim. How do you feel about Louisville? Louisville's in the ACC. I'll talk about them tomorrow. Miami, I'll talk about them tomorrow. FAU dropped it last night. You can't win them all. It happens. How do you feel on Penn State? That's a Big Ten team. I talk about them on Tuesdays. Yes, I saw your video about Iowa State. Why did they get charged with tampering of records? I thought they just placed illegal bets on games. Squints. So, to place the illegal bets on games, what the players did was they created fake accounts in their parents' name. So they used their mother's names or their father's names, and they made the accounts. When you use a fake name to place a bet on an app, that is tampering of records. That will get you 2 years in prison. So if you're ever using a fake name and trying to pretend you're somebody else's identity, even if it's a family member, you're wrong. You know how all these charges came about? All these charges came about because one of the parents at Iowa or Iowa State reported fraudulent conduct on the gambling apps with their name. They reported it because they thought it was fraud when it turned out it was their own college kid. And when the FBI went into look, well, the bank looked into it, the app looked into it, and that's what triggered this whole thing. Was one of the parents said, hey, man, I didn't make that bet. Why am I losing money? What is this? Why is my name associated with this on this app? These kids are using their parents' identity to make the bets. That is fraud. That's the part that they got charged with. That's the tampering of records. That's the bigger issue here. So what happens is the parents go and drop the charges. The parents say, we don't want to charge them with the tampering of the records. Right? The parents start going, oh, no, I made that bet. Now they start taking the blame for their kid. Oh, no, I did it. My bad. I forgot. I did it. I was on his phone. When he came home to visit, I was making the bets under his profile, but that's my name because I created it. Or they come up with any excuse they want to protect their kids. So now they just get charged with underage gambling. $600 fine. But that's how it happens, and that's why they were charged with tampering of records. Great question, Squints. I'm glad you dug into that and actually asked the little part because I didn't touch on it in depth, but I have a lot of insider information on that, by the way. There's a reason why I knew who everybody was in the gambling and who was guilty and who actually was betting on games 2 months before the news. Because I actually have a dozen people telling me, Rico, I know these people personally. Let me tell you what's going on. Yeah, it's all over my stuff. Auburn defense. Okay. Yeah, Auburn defense played great last night against Cal. I thought the refs were terrible in that game. Rico, got to give a huge thanks. Literally turned under $100 into several thousand yesterday, mostly using your knowledge. Yeah, man, I appreciate you. Thank you so much, Andy. I hope you use it well. Hope you feed your kids, buy something nice, do what you do. We're here to get people paid. I want to tell you guys, a guy showed me a ticket yesterday. I do have professional gamblers in my inbox. There's a guy from Vegas. He talks to me every single day. Somebody showed me a ticket. Babe, how much was it? $65,000 he lost? Yes. $65,000 he lost on his last parlay, last leg of the parlay. And he just laughed. He just was like, "Hey, Rico, I missed on the last leg of the parlay." Oh, well. $65,000, bro. He ain't worried about you guys. He ain't worried about you guys. It's funny. Professional gamblers, they're rocking with me. You guys, you $2, $3 dudes hating me? That's cool, bro. I also took your girl when we were the same age. I'm just letting you know. You're the type of dudes I took your girl with you watching. You would take her to the club. Favorite song would come on. You'd ask her to dance. She'd be like, "Oh, no, I don't feel like dancing." I walk up. She'll be like, "Okay, I'll dance." Yep. Thanks for driving her here, bro. Anyways, let's go over here. Let's talk about the MAC. We got Ball State and Georgia. Ball State, nothing surprising here. Shout out to Roderick Robinson for actually getting in the game. I love Roderick Robinson, freshman at Georgia, running back from Lincoln, San Diego. Finally getting his shot to show, do his thing, and 38 yards is fine. Central Michigan, New Hampshire. New Hampshire's a good team. They have been for a couple years now. Central Michigan pulled it out, 45-42. Way too close. Not cool. The fact that it went down like that. Shout out to New Hampshire for throwing for nearly 500 yards. This does not bode well for Central Michigan. They couldn't stop this man. But I'm telling you, Max Brosmer throws for 493. 493, 4 touchdowns, 1 pick. That dude showed up ready to play. Are you kidding me? They couldn't cover Dillon here. Dillon, 12 receptions, 295 yards, and 2 touchdowns. This might be a guy I got to talk about. Remember, I'm doing top 5 transfers every single week. I got you guys. But, yeah, great game. Exciting stuff. I watched the highlights. I'll go back and watch the replays later today for some of these games, but it's exciting. It's exciting stuff. Bowling Green beating Eastern Illinois. Bowling Green is not a good team, but Connor Bazelak, I think, is one of the worst quarterbacks in America. He actually threw for 319 yesterday. He did just fine. Syracuse blows out Western Michigan. I didn't see this coming. Syracuse looked good. Garrett Schrader looked good. Shout out to Dino Babers. I know you guys are like, but it's a directional Michigan school. You don't understand. Western Michigan's all right. They're not bad. But they did lose too much in the transfer portal, and it shows. I already talked about Miami of Ohio looking great. Northern Illinois, Southern Illinois. I'm laughing at everybody. Everybody goes, "Rico, I can't believe you were surprised Northern Illinois beat Boston College." I am. They're 2 of the worst teams in America. But 4 months ago, I told you guys, Southern Illinois, the Salukis, are going to win this game. 4 months ago. I've got all the proof. I posted multiple videos on this. I'm extremely happy for the Southern Illinois Salukis. They lost one of their star safeties in the transfer portal. I think he went to Illinois. But everybody else returned and did their thing. Shout out to Rocky Lombardi, quarterback from my all-name team. He transferred from Michigan State to Northern Illinois. Almost threw for 300 yards, but he also had a fumble. And I think he had a pick as well. But 14-11, make it ugly. Do what you do. Southern Illinois won the state. Give it to me. Hey, you got to fire. You got what is it? Hambrick, the former running back in Northern Illinois, their head coach. He's got to go, bruh. I'm just letting you know. Toledo, 71 points. They took their frustration out on Texas Southern. Toledo, even DeQuan Finn didn't even have to do much, bruh. They won 71-3, and that's because they lost. They had a bad beat last week against Illinois. They lost 30-28. Arkansas did not look good. Arkansas did not look good against Kent State. Shout out to Kent State putting up a fight. Michael Alamo, the transfer from – where did Alamo transfer from? Purdue. He's a New Jersey kid. He transferred from Purdue to Kent State. They played well. Arkansas looked soft. Arkansas did not look good. That's the SEC this year. They look terrible. Ohio beating Florida Atlantic. Getting Curtis Rourke back looked great. And they beating Florida Atlantic. It was a defensive effort, really. I'm impressed. Akron, barely pulling it out against Morgan State. Akron looks terrible. They're starting Undercuffler again. If you guys don't know, Undercuffler is a transfer from Albany. He's an FCS transfer. Last year, they had 2 quarterbacks. They had DJ Irons, the JUCO transfer, dual threat guy, and then he got injured, and Undercuffler came off the bench and started throwing for 300-400 yards towards the end of the season. It looks like they're going to Undercuffler earlier this year, and rightfully so. He provides a spark. I think he's a better quarterback, and he's doing his thing. He gets the ball to the playmakers. Buffalo's got to be embarrassed dropping the game to Fordham, 40-37. That just happens. I don't understand it. And then Eastern Michigan couldn't really get anything going. Man, Minnesota plays a boring form of football. But shout out to Corey Crooms, leading them in receiving. That's a Western Michigan transfer. Leading receiver on Western Michigan last year, transferred to Minnesota, and he got 45 yards. That's not nothing to be great at. Hey, Rocky Lombardi, I told you guys he fumbled. He threw 3 interceptions as well for Northern Illinois. So the Salukis were out there just picking them off all day. I already talked about these games. Shout out to Fordham. Montez and Fordham, 5 touchdowns. I might have to do one on Montez. We're gonna see. We're gonna double check when I do it. I'm excited, guys. Top 5 transfer portal players. Let's go. All right, so that. Oh no, I messed up. Let me do something. I accidentally closed out the Mac and didn't talk about next week's games. I got you guys. Next week's games for the Mac. Here we go. Liberty at Buffalo. I already talked about it. Iowa State at Ohio. I got Iowa State winning that game. It'll be fine. We're going to check spreads later. Kent State might get their first win against Central Connecticut. I already talked about it. Indiana State is terrible. Ball State's going to ball them up. Trust me. Central Michigan, Notre Dame. Obviously, Notre Dame's going to blow them out. Iowa and Western Michigan, blowout. Nebraska will get their first win, beating Northern Illinois. We're checking spreads on all these. Cincinnati looks amazing. Cincinnati's going to beat Miami of Ohio. Toledo's beating San Jose State. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed that happens. Michigan beating Bowling Green, huge. And then Kentucky beating Akron. So we'll have to check spreads on all these. Pretty simple to call these money lines. We'll go from there. Shout out to them. Let me go back to, this was going to be Sunbelt. Back to the chat. Give me a second. Before we go to Sunbelt, and then we finish it up with just conversation. What do you think of Travis Hunter's potential in the NFL? That is not a group of 5 question. Thank you for being here, though. Just started watching, man. Your takes be on point. Rico knows. Thank you, Mimi's World. I appreciate you. Looking at the UNH Central Michigan game, how admittedly I didn't pay attention to it, but looking now, should we look at UNH as an FCS powerhouse? Yeah, J2B, I don't really watch FCS teams like all season long because I'm so focused on the FBS teams, but there are certain powerhouses that I'm really excited about. I'm excited about Idaho. I'm excited about Southern Illinois. Obviously, Rhode Island and New Hampshire. South Dakota State, North Dakota State. There's a whole handful of teams. I want to see what Sacramento State does with Stanford next week. I'm excited. I'm paying attention. I like NAU's team, Northern Colorado's team. I like their players. I know who they are. FBS players transferred down to those schools. So we'll see what happens. My friends don't know shit. Okay, Eli, get new friends, bruh. Keep calm. Love Jibbo says, how do you feel about Penn State? That's a question for Tuesday. Yo, Rico, have you watched Woodlawn yet? I don't know anything about Woodlawn. Jeff Collins says, good morning, Rico. I won. Colorado. Lost over on Vandy. Lost over for JMU. And I was incest on that was UW. Didn't cover the spread against Total. Hey, dude, that Tulsa one. Tulsa scores a touchdown in the fourth quarter. It's absurd because they were, I think the score was 41-10. It's bull. It's rough, man. It hurt. They couldn't have given that game away any worse. Exactly, Jeff Collins. That's why gambling's terrible, bro. Putting in the work is always worth it. Thank you very much. Matthew says, Rico, did you see Hudson Clement for Western Virginia had 177 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns? Yes, I did, but I talk Western Virginia on Wednesdays. Thank you, though. Hey, Rico, I know this isn't related. What up, CBB content? To the live stream today, but your thoughts on former Memphis and now USC wide receiver Taj Washington, NFL talent. Well, he looked great. He looked great. I don't assess NFL talent until after the season. When I see people declare for the draft, then I go back and assess their NFL talent. I just let the games happen as they happen. I don't do anything else with that. Sorry. Rico, thoughts on Sean Strickland winning the middleweight title? Izzy couldn't land anything. You meant couldn't land anything. Yeah, I already made a video about it this morning. I hate Israel Adesanya. I think he's a terrible human being. People confuse him for being an African American, like a black American that we want to support. No, I will never support Israel Adesanya. He's not American. He hates Americans, and he says and does some of the most disrespectful shit on the planet. If you saw another foreigner doing the shit he does, you wouldn't give him a pass. But because he's black, you want to give him a pass. But no, the color of his skin, he's not down with us. He's not cool in my corner. He couldn't kick it on my block. Like he's not me. He's not us. He's a damn parasite, bro. He's the worst. Go back and do some studying on Israel Adesanya and the shit he says. And then he puts on a clean face. And the reason he gets away with it is because he's a rich kid who got educated and speaks proper English. I don't give a shit. He says some extremely disrespectful things. Real talk. Don't like that guy at all. Glad he lost. Don't think he should have been fighting Sean Strickland. Sean Strickland didn't deserve a title shot. But FAFO, right? You fight the wrong guy, you fight the wrong guy. Is EMU as inept offensively as they looked last night, or is the Gophers? I think the Gophers' defense is very dominant. I really do. I think it's pretty good. EMU is inept on offense, though. They have one move: run the ball, and that's it. What do you think about Drew Allar? I'll tell you on Tuesday when I talk about the Big Ten. SMU's Preston Stone looked good. Interesting kid. I remember him beat Shador in high school. He had a ton of offers out of high school. Yeah, so Preston Stone's a good quarterback, and they knew that. And Tanner Mordecai knew that, and that's why he left to Wisconsin, because there was growing more and more support for Preston Stone to be the starter. Also, Alex Pereira? Alex Pereira, that's a fighter. Kid named Alex from Iowa, just transferred to SMU. He thought he was going to show up in there and get the starting job. Nah. You're not beating out Preston Stone. Preston Stone was good to go. So he's playing good. PSA, everyone, hit the like and subscribe button. Thank you so very much, Jeff Collins. I hope they do. Do you think Brown should start over McCord? Dude, that's a Big Ten question. I answered that on Tuesday. This is Group of 5, bro. Rico, the Vols fan and embarrassed. Milton is killing us. Too inaccurate. I see a 5-7 season with him. I told you, Adam. Thank you for the tip. I told you, Adam, that guy's terrible. I told you guys he's not good. Got a great offensive scheme. Got a great coach. Not a good quarterback. And you saw it struggle. CJ Montez, quarterback from Fordham, 305 yards, 5 touchdowns. What do you know about the kid? Hidden gem. Definitely a hidden gem. I know a fair amount about him. I'm going to make a video about him later today. I just decided. So I won't steal my thunder, and I'll put it in the video for everyone to enjoy. Or is it Buffalo's defense that really bad? No, Buffalo's defense is good. Sometimes you just have a bad game. MJ Wright, I'm going to go back and check to see if he's a hidden gem or if he's just a product of a ton of targets. I got to go back and check. Remember, I don't follow all FCS schools as closely as I should just because I'm an FBS guy in 133 teams. So it's kind of tough for me sometimes. I'm going to take some notes here. Give me a second. My bad. But when I see a guy transfer, I know who he is. So for me, CJ transferring from where did he transfer? From New Mexico. So CJ's a New Mexico transfer, and it's just one of those things. He's good. He's doing well. He got a chance to start. Thoughts on ECU? What do they need? They need a quarterback. Garcia's good. He's fine. Mason Garcia. They need a running back. They got Gerald Green in the transfer portal. He was not the answer. They just need a revamp. They lost 2 wide receivers, 1,000-yard wide receivers. They lost everybody that was good in the transfer portal or to the NFL. And that's the reality of the situation. You just got to, restock. They'll be good in about 3 years, 2 or 3 years. They got to develop some kids. Hit the like button. Rico needs to get paid. Thank you very much. Hey, Rico, you saw Lenoris yesterday. Not Group of 5 question. I'll talk about it on Thursday. But, yes, saw Lenoris Sellers get in the game after I made a video about him. Coach Beamer watches my channel, and he said, man, we got to get that guy in the game. He's actually pretty good. And he balled out. Oh, sorry, just noticed. Group of 5 talk. I brought up Tennessee. In fairness, Tennessee belongs in a Group of 5 now. Rico, how do you think former Georgia State and Texas and Jackson State wide receivers Kevin Coleman and Jamari Thrash do against Indiana? So that's a question for – I know you're trying to make it a Group of 5 question. It's not a Group of 5 question. That's an ACC question. That'll be asked tomorrow, and I'll answer it tomorrow. I'm a huge fan of both players. I've been talking about Jamari Thrash all offseason and obviously Kevin Coleman. JT Daniels is out at Rice. What do you mean he's out? He's injured? He played out of his mind. Fresno State embarrassed me last night. Tanner McKenzie, they got it done. It was not good. They got it done. If you guys don't know, they struggled with an FCS opponent yesterday, but they got the win. But, yes, it was not good. If you haven't seen the play, go watch how Morgan State blew it last night. Clayton Bishop, I'm going to watch it. I rewatch all the games all Sunday. I don't watch NFL. I don't really care to watch NFL. Doesn't move me. Find it boring. So there's that. Sean Strickland did deserve to fight Izzy after all. No, he did not. That is a prime example of why you don't deserve to fight the guy. You should not get a title shot. It's ridiculous. You're going to lose to somebody who didn't earn the right to be there. There's a bunch of people in between that earned it. Devin Mockabee is that guy, Rico. Shout out to Devin Mockabee, running back at Purdue. Apparently he's that guy. How good is Wyoming? Texas in trouble? No, they're not in trouble. Wyoming's a very good team, though. Wyoming's not bad. Well-coached team. Always do well. Always play well. Texas is not in trouble. Do you think Colorado has a chance to win the Pac-12? I'll talk about that next Friday. I talk about Pac-12 on Fridays. Rico, let me hear your take on East Carolina. I think they're a good team. They're just missing a lot of parts. They lost everybody to the NFL. How do you feel about Boise State? Boise State's trying their best, but, man, it's tough to beat UCF. It's tough. Like, the teams they're playing, Washington, UCF, these are not cakewalks. I think Boise State's still the best team in the Mountain West talent-wise. They just have to put it together on the field. Quarterback room has some serious issues. You're talking about East Carolina. Yeah, it's going to happen when you had a starter for the last 3 years just finally leave. That's what happens. BC might suck, but quarterback is a baller. We're going to talk about it tomorrow. Shout out to Thomas Castellanos. Wyoming's 2-0. What do you know about them? Can they keep up with Texas? No, I don't think they can keep up with Texas. I know they beat Texas Tech. I know everything about them. Like, I don't know what you're asking me. I know everything about Wyoming. They lost 3 really good players to the transfer portal. They got about 4. But Wyoming's a good program. They just kind of keep rebuilding within themselves. But their star players did depart. They're still good, though. Had to do some chores this morning. Just got to the live. Who in the group of 5 team that could end up in the top 10 this year? Well, if you respect Tulane, they can end up there. If you recognize, hey, they didn't have Pratt and they played this great against Ole Miss. If they had Pratt, they would have been in this shit, right? So they can still run the table and get in there. Then there's undefeated teams. If they just keep winning, man, they're going to keep moving up the charts. But to get in the top 10, you need other teams to lose. That's the reality of the situation. You need 10 teams to lose. If you don't have, you have too many undefeated teams, you're never going to get in there. Thoughts on Texas State? 2 good games, both covers. Greg, I've been on Texas State all offseason. I love G.J. Kinney. I love everything they're doing. Finley's playing out of his mind right now. I'm glad they got Drew Donnelly in the game plan. Yes, their offensive line was a little overmatched for UTSA. UTSA is a talented team. I'm big on Texas State. But remember, I had them winning. Once again, we'll go to the chart. Remember, guys, I have charts for everything. I had Texas State. As much as I love them, I only have them winning 4 games, and one of them wasn't Boise. Like, there it is. I have them winning 4 games, and one of them wasn't not Boise, Baylor. So it's just a shame because I really like G.J. Kinney and I like what they're doing. They could probably win more than 4, though. They got a fight in them. They're going to be competitive in a lot of games that I kind of counted them out on. And this was before in the preseason when I made those predictions. I can be wrong, right? How do I feel about BSU? I think I just talked about it. Who do you think will win the Mountain West? San Jose's got a shot. San Jose, Boise, San Diego State. Those 3 are up there, man. Those 3 are up there that come right to my mind immediately. Check Jeff Sims' bank account before you check Casey Thompson. Fair. Thank you very much, Lego. Thank you, Kenneth. Damn, shout out to Kenneth. Yep. Thoughts on K-State minus 3.5 versus Missouri? Yeah, that sounds about right. Sounds about right to me. Big time. Are there any of Alabama's quarterback backups better than Milroy? That's a question for Thursday. Rico, what do you think about Anthony Richardson? I don't think about Anthony Richardson. Rico, you don't miss. Trust me. 15 out of 19, it was live. Just listen to the man. Thank you so much, Ty Turner. I try my best. I wish Middle Tennessee would have beat Missouri too. Yep. Thoughts on Texas State? Already talked about it. Rewind the show. Thoughts on Virginia Tech versus Purdue? That's a ACC question. That'll be answered tomorrow. Colorado 5-7, no bowl. Shout out to you, Alex. Aaron Herb says BSU doesn't look like themselves. I think JRP had his best passing game as a Knight yesterday. Although the stat line doesn't show it, those 2 picks were not on him at all. Yeah, Aaron, it happens. But I also think that Boise's going to be okay. They're just playing really good teams. Joseph says, do you release your top 25 every Sunday? I do unless there's a game on Sunday. Then I got to wait for the game to play out. So I try. It just takes time, guys. I got a lot of shit to do. I'm probably going to do top 5 transfers first today, and then I'll get to that. Remember, top 5 transfers, you can't have any repeat people appear on the list, so I got to go look for the top 5 transfers from this week. It's fun for me. Hal quit asking the same question. Plus, already answered to you, Boise sucks. Boise State's finishing 0-12. Don't do this. What's up, Rico? Have you talked about the Sun Belt yet? I believe they're the last conference. Thanks for asking. Let's go. So, looking at the Sun Belt, I was a little hesitant to say Florida State would cover the spread just because I thought Southern Miss would score. I was wrong. Southern Miss did not score. Shout out to Florida State for looking like the top 1 or 2 teams in the country. I hate that they're number 4. They should be. They need to be respected. They're dynamite. They're amazing. They're physically dominant. They were winning this game every which way possible. K-State blowing out Troy. We knew it was happening. Didn't matter that the nation's leading rusher showed up. Kamani Vidal did put up 83 yards, but it was never in doubt. It was always a blowout from the start. Shout out to Appalachian State, man. They played their best. Omarion Hampton, 234 yards rushing. You can't beat them if you're going to let a guy rush for 230-something yards. But Joey Aguilar did play well. He was doing all that he could, and they kept Drake May in check for most of the game. Going to double overtime. You shouldn't be ashamed of yourself. Played well, but no moral victories here, bro. You lost. JMU beating Virginia. It turns out, I said this last week on Sunday. I said JMU's going to pull off the upset and beat Virginia. Then the line came out, and it was like, hey, Rico, they're the favorite. And I'm like, oh, damn. I thought I was calling it like no one else saw this coming. And they did win. They didn't cover the spread, but they won. Anthony Colandrea. He actually is on the channel on TikTok. Is known as @AC, I believe. Anthony Colandrea, a freshman from Florida, St. Pete, Florida. Dude, he's never losing that job. You can kiss that goodbye. Tony Muskett went down with injury, and this kid came off the bench, and came off the bench this week. My goodness, Anthony Colandrea, 377 yards against JMU in a loss, but I thought he played amazing. I thought he played lights out. I was really happy for that kid. I like to see freshmen just do their thing. He's only like 5'11". It's crazy. UTSA gets back on the winning side of things. They actually win the game. Did not look good. Frank Harris did not impress. I already talked about this. South Alabama looks terrible again. Okay, I want to go up here and pull up the South Alabama box score. I want to show you guys something that's bugging me. Number 1, Carter Bradley. This is your last year. You're supposed to be playing out of your mind. You're not doing it. A touchdown, interception, that's fine. But you see this Kentrell Bullock thing right here? Kentrell Bullock is a transfer from, I believe Bullock's a transfer from Ole Miss. And they're letting him get the lion's share of the carries over LaDamian Webb. LaDamian Webb is a former Florida State running back who went JUCO and then came back and rushed for 1,000 yards last year. How the hell is Webb not getting more carries? Webb is him, bro. Stop giving it to this other guy just because he looked good on film. I've seen Webb do this shit on Saturdays. Not just at practice, but on Saturdays. It's pissing me off. And they're not using Devin Voicing. The Voicing brothers, one's on offense, one's on defense. They're not using Voicing as well as they should. 4 carries, 4 receptions, 70 yards. He's always open. Get him the rock. I'm frustrated with South Alabama. I feel like they should be a better team. They struggle to win this game to impress me, is what I'll say. It was tied 7 at the half. I didn't like it. South Alabama's supposed to be at least a 10-win team, and they don't feel that way. They really don't. I already talked about this game. Let's talk about Old Dominion for actually getting on the winner's side of things. I didn't see Old Dominion winning this game. I think Old Dominion's cupboard is bare. You guys see Ben Woolridge right there, the quarterback for Louisiana? Remember, Ben Woolridge is only here. What the hell just happened? Ben Woolridge is here because he lost the quarterback battle to Jake Haener at Fresno State. That's right. Back when Jake Haener transferred from Washington down to Fresno State, he won the quarterback battle. The guy he beat out was Ben Woolridge. And then Woolridge jumped in the portal and came over to the Raging Cajun. So he gets over here, and I thought he was good enough to win this game. Apparently not. This is a team, Old Dominion lost. They had 3 players drafted in the NFL draft. They got to have the most bare cupboard out there. And they lost Blake Watson to the transfer portal. Kenyatta went to UCLA. Their starting quarterback went to Western Michigan. Like, it's just terrible. They lost to everybody. Allie Jennings left. He went to Virginia Tech, the leading receiver. Like, they lost who's the defensive end who went to Ole Miss. He's got a – man, I should never forget his name. But the point is they still won the game. That's great coaching. That's great coaching, and now they're 1-0 in conference. So Old Dominion's still alive. I don't think they're a good team, but they beat Louisiana. Louisiana should be ashamed of themselves. That's a terrible showing. It really is. I already talked about all these other games. Shout out to Memphis for blowing out Arkansas State. If you want to hear about anything else, rewind the show. We talked about them. ULM beating Lamar. Isaiah Woolard's an Ole Miss transfer as well. Rushed for 113 yards. He's now at ULM. Took the job from who's the kid who just transferred to Jackson State? Forget his name. Doesn't matter. Back to the chat, and then we're wrapping up the show. Thanks for being here, guys. We got 40 minutes left to chat. If we get to the bottom, though, we're done. So, thanks. Let's see. Correct. Thoughts on UTSA's coach, Troy Taylor? It's amazing. I don't think he'll be at UTSA very long. He's too good. No, he's been a great recruiter. He's dominated San Antonio. He is it not Troy Taylor? What's his name? Dude, I can't be drawing a blank right now. UTSA head coach. Jeff Traylor. What the hell was I saying? Troy Taylor's Stanford's head coach. It's a lot of names in my head, guys. I apologize. There, you just watched it happen. You just watched the real life in my head. Just whoa, I'm missing a name. Yeah, Jeff Traylor's great though. Former great high school head coach in the San Antonio area, dominating in Texas. So good for him. I think he'll get hired. I'd want him at Texas A&M, but I don't think they want him at that job. Maybe he gets hired at Houston. Fire Dana Holgorsen and then give him the job at Houston. Conference realignment isn't your thing, but do you think Oregon State and Washington State can be the Pac-12 flagship schools and add Mountain West schools? Yeah, in about 2 years, Salt and SWAT. It is my thing, by the way. In about 2 years. Obviously, all the teams in the Mountain West are currently under a TV contract. They can't afford the buyout. They're not going to leave in time. But if you can keep it afloat for 2 years, then you can do it. So what they need to do to keep the conference alive is next season, they need at least 6 teams. 6 teams are required to be a conference. They're going to need 6, so they need to find 4 other teams. You can find 4 independent teams for damn sure, but you might have to find somebody else willing to move. There's other people who have sworn commitments that would be willing to move. Remember, the brand of the Pac-12 is worth far more than the Mountain West when it comes to TV negotiations and contracts. So they're hoping for it. We'll see what happens. Best group of 5 quarterbacks. I already have a whole list on that, Michael Morris. I have a whole playlist on it. Let's see if I can pull up the spreadsheet and see what I wrote. Let's see. Group of 5 quarterbacks. Where is it at? It might not be on this one. It might be in a different spot. Oh, there they are. I have Frank Harris, Austin Reed, Grayson McCall, Curtis Rourke, and Carter Bradley. Obviously, terrible. Plain terrible. Great. Good. Can't argue. Terrible, terrible. Pratt's great. Cordero's here. Tylen Green's here. Seth Hennigan's here. Mikey Keene is here. So I have all the names. The only guy missing is Finn from Toledo. And if I could redo this, obviously I would. But this is where we're at right now. This was before the season. Thanks for asking, though, Michael Morris. I made a video about it. Go find it. It's on the Who Is playlist. When you guys say, Rico, who is a top 10? Who is top 5? Who is this? Go to the playlist called Who Is, and you'll find it. First-time viewer, I love your energy, man. Looking forward to your Week 3 picks. Keep pushing, brother. Thank you very much. It's JV, bro. That's a crazy-ass name, though. I appreciate you. Joseph Villalon says, LeBron, Curry, and Durant said they're playing next year in 2024 Paris. Yeah, you see, Joseph, this is what we're talking about. We got a bunch of dudes saying they're going to play in the Olympics, and everybody goes, that's what we care about, the Olympics. But this is why Noah Lyles said, is it really a world championship? Because Noah Lyles runs track. Did we not all send our best runners for track? A lot of our people sat out saying they were getting ready for the Olympics. But every year we send the best athletes to the world championships. And if we don't win. Because the best athletes are there. We're not winning shit when we don't send our best. We're not good enough to send the B team or the C team or the D team. We're not good enough. We don't play defense in the NBA. We don't play defense in the NBA. So when you go to international competitions or world championships, you know what we don't do well? We don't defend well because they don't do that in the NBA. So when you get in there against other teams, we can't stop them. And they score at will. And that's why we lose all these competitions. Start playing defense in the NBA. Our players will start playing defense as kids, as high school kids, AAU, all that shit. And then maybe we'll be able to beat people on the other side of the world. Right now, American basketball is gross. I won't watch it. It's so gross. I only watch college basketball because I can appreciate what I'm seeing. I'm seeing a game, a sport, a team, defense, offense. I watch NBA basketball. Is disgusting, bro. I might as well watch an and one mixtape. He's going to clear out the way and let these dudes do a one-on-one show. Look at him. He got the cross, man. He crossed him over. All right, bro. That ain't winning no shit. And you wonder why a bunch of foreigners win the damn ring. You wonder why the team that wins it all is nobody from America. The best guard on the Nuggets is Canadian. The best player is Serbian or some shit, wherever he's from. Come on, man. It's gross. Can't watch that shit. It's not even basketball. I'll rather watch college basketball where the kids are out there grinding, slapping the court. If I see you slap the court with two hands and you pick up the full court press and you force that man to dribble back and forth, and you try to get an 8-second violation, if you're doing that shit, then I'm rocking with you. Shout out to Kobe. Like, I'm rocking with people who play defense. I don't care. Give me a hard foul. But the rest of this shit, shooting threes from the logo. Oh, my God, Rico, he's really athletic and he jumps around. Dude, get out of here. You just want his damn shoes and watch his Instagram video. I don't even have an Instagram. Hey, Rico, you made me so much bread the other day. Shout out to you, Eason. You made me bread too, bruh. Does the updated AP poll come out today? Usually it does, Joseph. Usually it does. AP and coaches polls come out today. Who has a brighter future, UConn or UMass? I'd imagine UConn, Stephen Guyette. And the reason for that is they have a basketball team that a conference might find desirable. So they have a chance to be put in a conference a lot sooner than UMass. Just saying. Is Texas Tech a quarterback away from winning? Who knows? I'm about to make spreadsheets as well. Former college athlete, never watched ball this closely until I met you. There you go, Malik. That's what I'm talking about. Make sure you're getting paid for what you're doing. You might start off not getting paid, but just keep working with it. Parents knew the kids were gambling. You can only deposit money from a bank account with the same name as the betting account. BB Dubs. Somebody's out there deducting reason. Thank you, Rico. Always in the know. Thank you. Knowledge is power. Keep it up, man. Thanks for helping. Texas beating Texas Tech. Word. My guy, Rico, great calls on the FCS. Thank you so much, Eric. I try, man. I was expecting to see more out of Oregon yesterday. Was that who they are? Waddy Way, I'm talking Pac-12 next Friday, but I'm pretty sure they were wearing Oregon jerseys. My guy, Rico, all love. Shout out to Corey Flores. Thank you for the tip. Appreciate you, brother. I got 2 pushes. That means the bet went even, y'all. Utah clutched, and then Washington ended at 33. Money back, no money, won. Would have been sweet-ass day. FAU sold crazy. I know, Tanner. Jackson LeClave says, Rico, just wanted to get your thoughts on Memphis. Do you think they could have a 10-2 type season? You know, as I look at them, yes, I think Memphis is very competitive in the American, and they're that underrated team that everybody's talking about. What concerns me with Memphis is their lack of marquee receivers. They lost 6 receivers to the transfer portal. That concerns me. But as I watch Seth Hennigan play every single week, it looks like he can just get continuity with anybody. So I appreciate him for what he is, but I don't know if I would put my money where my mouth is or anything like that. Just be a fan and enjoy it for what it is, if I'm being honest. Their defense hasn't allowed a touchdown through 2 games. Memphis? Yeah, but who are they playing, bro? Thoughts on Charlotte? Rewind the show. I love Biff Poggi. Who do you think is winning the Heisman this year, Travis or Sanders? So this is a group of 5 day, so I can only talk about group of 5 players if I'm going to talk about it like that. No group of 5 players are winning the Heisman. You can ask me on another day. Could you put the schedule on your banner so you aren't repeating that's not a group of 5 questions? You know what's crazy, Kenneth Rubin? I did something better, man. I put the title of the show in the damn title. Like it's in the title. When you come in here, it's in the title. It says Rico knows everything Colorado. That's for algorithm. Mountain West, Sun Belt, AAC, MAC, and Conference USA. And then if you go to TikTok and you go to my pinned videos, click on the third video, the third pinned video. It tells you the whole schedule, and it says Sunday live stream. I'm talking group of 5. It's crazy. Too early for Heisman talk. Totally agree, Ty Turner. How do you feel about San Jose State's quarterback? Chevin Cordero, I think he's one of my top 10 group of 5 quarterbacks. think he's a baller. Played 3-4 years at Hawaii, then transferred. Last year, he was second team All-Mountain West as a quarterback. The top returning quarterback in the Mountain West, technically, him and Green at Boise. But, yeah, I like him a lot. I like Cordero a lot. He looks like, I'm not going to say Tua. He gets compared to Tua a lot, but he's just a stud, man. He's just a stud. What do you mean you didn't want to see a unanimous decision on the Adesanya versus Strickland fight? It's boring. It's a one-sided fight. I don't want to see a 49-46. That just sounds like just an ass whooping all day long. If it was 48-47, I'd want to go back and watch it and see who really won. Maybe they graded it wrong. But what do I see here? They gave it a 49-46. Does UTSA compete with Tennessee in a couple weeks? It doesn't look like they will, but Tennessee was struggling with Austin Peay this week. So, go figure. ODU looked a lot better this week. Think they have any shot against Wake Forest? No. Wake Forest looks strong, and Wake Forest blew out Vandy. Like, Wake Forest looks clean right now. I don't think ODU looks good for that. Really disappointed that my Wolverines didn't cover. Hydra, this is all I'm going to say, guys. This is all I got to say. And then he said more. How many games do you see Sam Houston winning this year? I think I see 2, but really not sure. Thomas O'Connell. Great question. It's in a spreadsheet. Let's pull it up. It's in one of my videos as well. But if you look here, I have Sam Houston going 6-6. Okay? 6-6, Sam Houston right there. There's a 6 next to his name. Casey Keller right here. 6-6, Sam Houston. Let's see what happens. That was before the season. They look really good. I know you don't think they're going to win certain games, but they're actually a really good team. Trust. If you're holding BYU, a Power 5 team, to 14 points, and then you're losing to Air Force, a bowl-winning team, a great team in the Mountain West, Air Force can win the whole Mountain West. You're holding them to 13? Dude, it's a problem, bro. Sam Houston's good. Trust. Did you see the NC State's $15 million scoreboard take a lightning strike? No, I didn't. I'm sure it's insured. I hope it's insured. Who do you think wins the Sun Belt Conference? Troy. Right off the top, Troy or JMU. Those are my top 2 right there, right off the rip. Troy or JMU. What Michigan MAC team do you think has the best roster? So as of right now, it's got to be Central Michigan. It was Western Michigan, but they lost all their players in the transfer portal. So it's Central Michigan. Yeah. Minnesota is Western Michigan. Minnesota has all their players are from Western Michigan. It's crazy. Talk about Charlotte. I have many times. Rewind the show. I've talked about Biff Poggi in many videos. There's not much else to say. Charlotte's a good team. I like all their players. Fresno State versus Arizona State. What do you think? I think Fresno State's got a shot to win that game. Sunbelt matchups next week. Did I not go over them? Did I mess up and not go over the Sunbelt matchups next week? That's on me, bro. Hold up. That might have just happened. Thank you for reminding me. Let's go to week 3. Is this all of them? Give me a second here. Ooh. Maybe I did go over it. I'm just tripping. If I didn't, I apologize. Sunbelt week 3, I did not go over it. Let's go. So, You've got Georgia Southern at Wisconsin. It doesn't sound like a good matchup, but, man, Georgia Southern could throw the rock just like Washington State did. But I think Wisconsin's going to be pissed and want to win this game and get it back. Wake Forest at Old Dominion. I don't think Old Dominion's winning this game. I think Wake Forest is going to show up and beat them. We got to see these spreads, though. East Carolina at App State. Those teams, they look like they're going to run all over each other. ULM is going to get blown out by Texas A&M. Tulane at Southern Miss. Tulane's going to beat them bad. Georgia State and Charlotte. Watch Granger do his thing. South Alabama, Oklahoma State. Take the under on this thing. I don't even know what the over-under is. Take the under. These teams can't score. They're gross. Louisiana, UAB. Give me UAB to win big. Duquesne's going to lose to Coastal Carolina, obviously. Arkansas State's going to get their first win. They're going to beat Stony Brook. I'm pretty sure. JMU and at Troy. That's the game of the week. I got to see that spread. That's the game of the week. Jackson State's losing to Texas State. At Texas State. It's going to be in San Marcos. Good for them. Man, JMU at Troy. That shit's going to be on NFL Network. Do we give the NFL Network, sweetie? I think we do, huh? You don't know? She knows. She knows everything. Rico knows. Kim knows. Yeah, we'll have to check spreads throughout the week. That JMU game is exciting. JMU Troy. Shout out to that. That's pretty awesome. Thanks for letting me know I skipped it. I missed it. I apologize. T-minus 27 minutes, just so we're aware. Yes, we get it. We get it? Thank you, sweetie. Does Tulane have the best group of 5 uniforms? Hell no. I can't stand any color that looks like that dainty blue they wear. Nah, bro, that's a terrible looking uniform. Best group of 5 uniform. Have you seen San Diego State's red helmet? Have you seen San Diego State's red helmet? When they go all black with the red helmet, with the crazy hieroglyphics in it and stuff, look up San Diego State's red helmet, bro. Go look up that thing. Shit is nice. How sorry is UMD this year? That's a Big Ten question. That's Tuesday. Play like they did yesterday. Shit stomped. Got a rebound, though. Just don't know how. Good ASU is. No, Rashada is cool. Okay, that's a Friday question. But, yeah, Rashada played good. Arizona State, not so much. What do you think of Marlo Wax? Marlo Wax? I don't even know who that is. Fire up Chips. Oregon's defense is awful. Mr. Rico knows. I slept like a baby knowing that Alabama lost. It feels like I grew as well. Yeah. Willie Bobo. Willie Bobo says he slept like a baby. That means he slept for 3 hours and woke up crying. That's just so we're aware. But he feels like he grew as well. Gangster ass. Hey, that's crazy. Oh, man. Your record against the spread seems pointless. You made $1,900 if you bet $100 on each of your picks. No gambler bets like that. They are all in and losing their money eventually. I don't even know what you're saying, Jesse Castellanos. I'm not worried about what you're saying. It sounds like you guys don't know how to gamble or manage your money. I can tell you this. I have more money today than I did yesterday. And it just keeps working like that. Figure that part of life out. Jackson Brown, who transferred into JSU from Virginia Tech but lost a job. I think that's who you were talking about. No, I was not talking about Jackson Brown. I was talking about the running back from ULM, Malik Jackson. It just came to me right now. I was talking about Malik Jackson, transferred in from ULM to Jackson State. To Jacksonville State. Sorry. I almost predicted the Arizona upset yesterday. Fire up. What up, Rico? What up? Rico, what's up with JT Daniels? He lit Houston up. Rewind it. I already talked about him. I'm proud of him. Shout out to Pat Beverly. Whoa. Can I put in high school film review requests? Jeff Green, all high school film review requests are done via DM. Send me a DM on TikTok. Should I take the over or under on K-State, Missouri? That'll be talked about on Wednesday and Thursday. Most underrated team in the top 25. I don't think anybody's underrated. If they're in the top 25, they're where I put them. Right? They're where I put them. I don't know what you're talking about, underrated. I don't understand. When do you think Pratt is going to be back? I don't know. I haven't got any injury report on it. Do you know Ja Ross, an absolute freak nature, out of South Carolina, out of South Georgia, crazy outside linebacker? No, I never met this guy, Ja Ross. I don't know who he is. What surprising coach might be on the hot seat? Lamont Spratley, it's not surprising that Jimbo Fisher might be on the hot seat. Obviously, everybody wants to buy out and get rid of him, especially after this week's games. Might be on the hot seat. What a loaded question. Who is disappointing right now? Sorry, I'm thinking out loud and I don't like the silence. But if you ask me, Ryan Day can be on the hot seat if Ohio State fumbles down this road. Ryan Day. Watch. That's all I'm saying. FSU going to the ship. Okay. Hope they got a ticket. We them boys. All right. I didn't think it was 49-46. Texas got to be top 5. Okay. What do you think of Chris Mitchell at FIU having a great start to the season? Yeah, I talked about him, last week. I think Chris Mitchell is a beast. I think he's doing all the right things. When I watch the film, though, got to make sure your quarterback can get it to you, and they finally figured that out because that first week was gross. That first week, they finished with 4 passing yards. 4. So 2 weeks in a row now, they've been doing all right. Shout out to Jenkins for coming off the bench, the freshman, and Chris Mitchell's benefiting greatly. It's pretty awesome. Pittsburgh quarterback sucks. He sold last night bad. Yeah, that's a talk for tomorrow. I'm talking ACC tomorrow. And I warned everybody about Jerkovich, the Boston College quarterback transfer. I already warned you guys. Is Army good with the 13.5 against UTSA? The way UTSA is playing right now, they're not scoring well. I don't think they're good. I don't think they're within 13.5 points of UTSA, though. Personally, I don't. Personally, I think UTSA beats them by more than 13.5. I really do. That's 2 touchdowns. Yeah, I don't like Army for that. Where is he reading comments from? We always get these kids who show up and go, where's he reading comments from? I go slow, bro. Take your time. Write your comments. Sit tight. We make the show last. YouTube, just old comments. He's working his way down. Thank you very much, Andrew Franco, for letting him know. Oh, okay. Nah, that Rashada comment was more about Fresno State playing them and him. Was just trying to get insight on it. You said you feel Fresno State has a shot. I do. I like Mikey Keene in every game he's in. I believe Purdue is better than Arizona State, if you ask me. So they're playing Arizona State, and they already beat Purdue. It's just matchups. Got to sit down and look at the secondary, look at the defense. I got to do a lot of analysis before I make my take, but there you go. Marlo Wax is a linebacker at Syracuse. Look into him. He's good. Oh, okay. Shout out to you. Thank you for letting me know, Dizzle. I'll definitely do that. The name doesn't ring a bell, and that's pretty surprising to me that I don't know it. Thank you so much. I caught most of the Marshall ECU game. Their running back Ali looks like a weapon. I try to tell you guys. Sorry if you talked about that game already. Got in late. Hope you're doing well, Rico. Hey, Ivan, I've been talking about Ali all offseason. Ali is the real deal. Go watch the videos. Watch the Who Is playlist, guys. Go to my TikTok, and at the very top, above the videos, there'll be a bunch of playlists. Just keep swiping to the right till you find the Who Is playlist. Click on that damn thing. And then watch all those videos. You're going to learn about everybody. Because those are like all my top 10, top 5, top this. That's on the Who Is playlist. Rico, did you play ball? Ryan Frega, we've been over this 100 times, if not 1,000,000 times. Yes, I've played ball. I've coached ball. I've been a sports journalist and writer. I've been around football my entire life. I also wrestled, fought MMA, and was a track athlete. Yes, I've done it all. Everybody always asks, what are your credentials? I just kind of look around and just go, dude, stop it. You know how many people are in my DMs going, Rico, I thought you were a college coach. I thought you were a college player. I swear, I get it every day. Do I not, sweetie? I show her the screenshots. I got my cosigner right here. Do you think Holgerson should be out of Houston? Yes. Thought that last year, whatever it is. Can I get a discount on a Want to See a Dead Body shirt? LGZ7, shoot me your address, and I'll shoot you a free shirt, bruh. It's on me. I know you'll rock it. I'll get you 2 with alternating colors. Went 5 for 5 this weekend because of you. Shout out to Sports FR. I'm glad you did. How do you determine if a team's offensive line unit is good? I study them, Alec. I study them. That's what I do. I watch the film, turn on the tape, and go watch them. Guys, I watch a lot of tape. Sweetie, how often do I watch tape? All day, every day, guys. I watch tape for about, I don't want to exaggerate, at least 16 hours. And then the other 4 hours, I'm making videos. And then 4 hours I sleep. And I do that every single day. So I'm very, and when I say every day, every single day. Well, my girl cooks meals for me, so I don't have to miss time cooking and cleaning anymore. I can focus on that. I'll ask you again on Friday about Fresno ASU. I appreciate it, Fresno, my school, and hope we ball again. Yeah, it could change over the week. Oregon versus Colorado, week 4 of the game. Week 4 game of the week. Yeah, we'll talk about it Friday. Oklahoma struggle against SMU, concern or SMU AAC chance? SMU fighting for the title. SMU looking good. My bad, man. How good is Texas State? Rewind the show. Already talked about it. Who's going to win the MAC? Toledo. Even though San Jose State lost to USC and Oregon State, what do you think of their defense? Their defense is fine. You can't really tell anything about their defense. Those offenses are potent and really mean, respectively. But I like San Jose State a lot. I think they're cool. I like them a lot. What's up, cuz? Miss you, bro. Hey, Danny De La Garza. That's a real-life cousin of mine. Shout out to my cousin. What up, primo? Good to see you, brother. I miss nobody, though, just so you're aware. Hey, guys, thanks for being here today. It's NFL Sunday. You guys enjoy football. Enjoy the NFL games. I'm going to be over here watching the Group of 5 games and making my list and doing my thing. Make sure I know what I'm talking about and study. Thanks for the support on the channel. Thanks for always being here. Just remember, your friends don't know, but Rico knows. Peace, y'all.
I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean and no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you. I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean and no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you.
I do this for the kids who sit a bit outside the mix, who maybe cope through humor just to fit in for a bit, who never let the world know when depression's setting in. To all of those who know you, that impression don't exist. And it ain't counterfeit, it's just a way to counter it. I'm living things I dreamed about, I still encounter it. It ain't something that a cigarette or alcohol can fix, but all because of it, I flipped it quick, went on to write some hits. This a success, off another breath. This the first step in searching to be nothing less than be the best in what you do to prove their strength in being you. Learn so much in chasing dreams that I never would in school. Depends on where your passion lie, just no passion never lie. Life presents distractions, but your actions have to fortify. The things that you believe in have to scream it like a battle cry, and leave the ones who didn't looking stupid while they're asking why. Couldn't lie, I really do this for the ones I love. Those who treat the music as a vice and lyrics like a drug. Those who need advice on how to lift their spirit high enough to break out of the box they make of lives they know aren't good enough. Just because it's how it is don't mean it's how it has to be. This is what the uninspired testifiers fail to see. Jealousy results from being that which others fail to be, and if it means you're not with me, that honestly sounds fair to me.
I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this